Sumajnana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshornitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauda Tvise Namaha. Well, Sachi Didi has just reminded us today is, what is it called? Is the appearance day of Ganga?
Puja and Ganga Puja.
Okay.
It's mentioned like that.
Okay. So maybe the appearance day of Ganga, we're not sure, but it's a day of Ganga Devi. And Srila Gurudev, we saw, had so much appreciation for the Ganges. And he spoke about how the atmosphere, he actually says, doesn't he say that India used to be known as Ganga Sabhyata, as the civilization of the Ganges?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
No, but he's spoken about how that just a few times I heard him mention this, how just the atmosphere, the vibration coming from the Ganges, that was like spreading piety and spiritual consciousness and purifying and devotion. Yes, was spreading an atmosphere of devotion. Because she's actually a person, and so she's giving her association to the fortunate souls of Bharatvarsha. And actually, the Ganges water is the water of the Karana ocean, or the causal ocean.
Really?
Yes. So it is the foot water of Mahavishnu. And there is a long history of one king who some of his relatives were cursed by an angry sage. And I don't remember all the details. But he came to the conclusion that the only way they could be delivered was by having their ashes purified by the water of the Ganges. And so he himself wasn't able to do that, but it was one of his descendants who was able to do that, and he requested Ganga to come. And I believe she already had come down to the heavenly planets, where she's known as the Mandakini there. Mm-hmm. Very beautiful name. Gurudev gave that name, Mandakini, to Kumkum Didi's daughter. I believe she was already in the heavenly planets, but she was afraid to come down to earth. One, because there's so many sinful people are here, and so she was worried that they will bathe in her, and then she'll become so contaminated with their sins. And then another point of concern was that by the force of her fall to earth, then she may just continue going down to the nether worlds. She didn't want to go there. Earth would be just about tolerable, but to go any lower would be too much. And so she was reassured, however, that the Vaishnavas would bathe in her waters and they would purify. This is mentioned as one of the qualities of the pure devotees, that they're so pure that they can purify the holy places. The places where people usually go to purify themselves, the pure devotees, they can purify those places.
Because they get contaminated by the people who
Yes.
walk there.
But there's a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam, Davad Vidha Bhagavatas, Tirtha Bhuta Swayambhibho, Tirtha Bhuti, Tirti Korvanti. I can never remember. Bhavad Vidha Bhagavatas, tirta bhuta swayam vibho, tirti korvanti tirtani, yanta swena gadabrta. Yes, that's it. Yudhisthira Maharshi, his uncle Vidura, has gone on pilgrimage, and when he returns, and Yudhisthira, he tells this, this verse, saying, you don't actually need to go on pilgrimage. You yourself are tirtha, you are a holy place yourself. The only reason for you to go is to purify those places. You can make holy places. So that is the power of the Vaishnava. So Ganga was reassured that the saints will come and bathe in your waters, and then you will be purified again. And then Lord Shiva also agreed to accept the task of taking the Ganga on his head as she fell to break her fall. So she would gently, glide onto the earth, Borlok. But, we saw Gurudev had so much, he had a relationship actually. And he told that story of how his amulet was taken by the Ganges, and when he requested it back, then she gave it back, she returned it. And we were there on that occasion when he went to, I didn't go with him, but I was there in Navadvip. And he went to bathe in the Ganges. And, very happily. Very happily.
Such a beautiful sight.
Yeah, we saw the photos. Yeah. Were you there?
No. But you would think, if I just would be there.
Just to let you know, for some reason the streaming on Facebook's not working, so we'll have to troubleshoot that later.
Okay.
But actually we hear that from stories that if you desire something or you meditate on something and it is strong enough or it's pure enough, it can be fulfilled, isn't it? Like that devotee who was offering, who had no ingredients to offer to the Lord, but he was in his meditation, he was offering sweet rice to the Lord, and then his hands got burned when he took it back, right? So could you? That's true, right? If you desire something strong and purely, then that can happen.
Of course, Didi. I mean, everything is in consciousness, right? Everything's existing in consciousness. The physical connection is not connection. Okay, so we'll continue with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we heard yesterday of Mahaprabhu's beautiful meeting with the devotees, his loving exchanges with the devotees. And now he is going to meet personally with Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur is at some distance away. Prabhu namaskari sobe vasate cholila, gopinata charja sobe vasasta nadila. After offering obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees departed for their residences, and Gopinathacharya showed them their respective quarters. Mahaprabhu aila tobe Haridas milane, Haridas kore preme nama sankirtane. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to meet Haridas Thakur, and he saw him engaged in chanting the Mahamantra with ecstatic love. Haridas chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhu deki pore age dandavata hoya, Prabhu alingan koilo tade hutaya. As soon as Haridas Thakur saw Mahaprabhu, he immediately fell down like a stick to offer him obeisances. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised him up and embraced him. Dui jane prema veshe koden krandane, Prabhu gune britya vika, Prabhu britya gune. Then both the Lord and his servant began to cry in ecstatic love. Indeed, the Lord was transformed by the qualities of his servant, and the servant was transformed by the qualities of his master. Haridas kohe Prabhu nacho niyo more, ui nicha ashpisha parama pamare. Haridas said, My dear Lord, please do not touch me, for I am most fallen and untouchable, and am the lowest among men. Prabhu kohe tomas parshi pavitra hoite, tomar pavitra dharma nahi ko amate. The Lord said, I wish to touch you just to be purified, for your purified activities do not exist in me. This is something that is mentioned, a number of times. The many times the Lord makes this comment that he wishes to be purified by his devotee. So what more can we say? The purity of the Vaishnavas is so great that even the Lord wishes to be purified by them. Mahaprabhu also tells this to Sanatana Goswami. That exchange with Sanatana Goswami, it's one of the most beautiful things one could ever read. When Mahaprabhu receives Sanatan, when Sanatan he manages to escape from his work in the government, and he's a fugitive, he's been imprisoned, and he has to escape. And he's very dirty, and his hair has grown very long. He was in prison probably a few months, and then he spent at least a few weeks making his way to Mahaprabhu. So, we can imagine what he looked like, and Chandrasekhar Acharya doesn't even recognize, he thinks he's, some beggar. But Mahaprabhu embraces him, And Sanatana is very embarrassed and telling Mahaprabhu, oh, I am so contaminated, I am so filthy. And Mahaprabhu tells him the same thing. And it's interesting too that in both of these examples, there are persons who are generally considered untouchable by the society at the time because of their association with the Muslims. Are considered to be outcasts. But, Mahaprabhu is telling them, you are so pure, you can purify me. And also, I believe, to Uddhava in Bhagavatam, he makes a similar statement.
But the Goswamis and Sanatana Goswami, he was not even a Muslim, he was only working for a Muslim, right?
Yeah, but this was the prejudice was so strong. If a Muslim just sprinkled some water on your head, you were considered to be a Muslim. It's ridiculous. Really? Yeah. There's another history in Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is his name? Subudhi Rai. I think his name is Subudhi Rai. He was a respectable, wealthy Hindu gentleman, but he had a servant a Muslim servant who later became a governor, had some position. And because on one occasion previously he had like hit him or something as some type of correction, then I think like with a whip or something. And the Muslim servant, he was actually, like a good-hearted person, and he wasn't bothered by it, but then, he accepted it as a worthy punishment for whatever he'd done. But then later, when he had some position of power, his wife, she found out about it, and she was very upset. And she told him that you have to kill him. And he refused. And so she said, well, at least make him a Muslim. So they did something like that, sprinkling some water on him. And then he became an outcast. But Subudhi Rai, he was also a great devotee, and he was quite happy about it, because it gave him an excuse to give up his family life and all his worldly duties. But it became like a burning issue. What should I do? And some people told him, oh, you have to kill yourself. Some people told him, oh, you have to kill yourself, drink boiling ghee, and then in your next life maybe you'll be lucky enough to be born as a Hindu. So this was the opinion of some persons. And then when he met Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu told him, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. He told him, go to Vrindavan, take Krishna Nam, don't worry about anything. So it was so bad, Even I read during the time of partition, which is like in the 1940s. 1947 was the year of partition, the same year Gurudev joined. But around that time, there were so many atrocities that were being committed between the Muslims and the Hindus against one another. But one of the things I read that some of the Muslims do is they would force the Hindus to eat cow meat. That was one thing some of them would do, because then it would be considered that they were no longer Hindu. They were contaminated. So there's some external conception there.
Yeah.
But from the spiritual conception, it is nothing. Okay, so we will continue. Kane kane koro tumi sarvatirte snan, kane kane koro tumi yagyata podam. Mahaprabhu exalted Haridas Thakur, stating, at every moment you take your bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage, and at every moment you perform great sacrifices, austerity and charity. Nirantar koro chadi veda dhyayan, dvijanyasi hoite tumi parama pavam. You are constantly studying the 4 Vedas, and you are far better than any Brahmin or sannyasi. And now there's a famous verse here from Bhagavatam, which Mahaprabhu cites. Aho bata swapacho to gadiyan yaj jivagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapas te juhuvu chashnur arya brahmanuchur nama grinanti yete. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then recited the following verse. My dear Lord, one who always keeps your holy name on their tongue becomes greater than an initiated Brahmin. Although he may be born in a family of dog-eaters and therefore by material calculation may be the lowest among men, he is still glorious. This is the wonderful effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord. It is therefore concluded that one who chants the holy name of the Lord should be understood to have performed all kinds of austerities and great sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. He has already taken his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage. He has studied all the Vedas, and he is actually an Aryan. And Aryan, this word, unfortunately it was, appropriated by a certain person who we shall not name, because we don't want to invoke inauspiciousness. But it's actually, it's a Vedic word. And it means someone who follows the Vedic religion. So it's actually a very good word. Etaboli tade loya gela pushpa dhyane atini britte tade dilavasastane. Saying this, Mahaprabhu took Haridas Thakur within the flower garden, and there, in a very secluded place, he showed him his residence. Estane dohi koro nama sankirtan pratidina asyami koribo milan. Mahaprabhu requested Haridas Thakur, remain here and engage in Nam Sankirtan. I shall personally come here to meet you daily. Bandide chakradeki koriho pranam etai tomarasibe prasadan. Remain here peacefully and look at the chakra on the top of the temple and offer obeisances. As far as your prasadam is concerned, I shall arrange to have that sent here. So this is a very nice example of being in the lowest position and attracting the greatest degree of mercy. Because Haridas, he's not allowed to enter the temple. He's not accepted by the general Hindu society. But he's actually getting more mercy, more time. Mahaprabhu is personally arranging for his residence. Mahaprabhu is personally arranging for his prasadam. Just incredible.
Coming to him every day.
Coming to see him every day. Yeah. Amazing. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, we have to prove to the Lord that we are the most needy. This is our assertion. Our assertion is that we are the most needy. Our assertion is not that we are the greatest. Our assertion is that we are, the lowest. We are in such dire need of your mercy. So that's why we have to study Prapana Jivanamrita. It's so valuable to us. Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentions there in the beginning, we have to, in order for the longing for Sharanagati to be born within us, we must study the art of surrender. And through that, some hankering, some inspiration may arise within our hearts. So we hear these expressions of the devotees, and then we understand, this is the way to approach. And also by that association, the natural, tendency towards that will begin to arise. There's that, Gurudev like that one. There's one very nice verse. Parama, how does it go? Parama sochatamo nachamat para. It's saying that, you are the most merciful, second to none, and I am the most fallen, second to none. So considering this, please do as you see fit. There's no specific request attached there. I'm just pointing this out. You are extremely merciful, and I am extremely low. So if you put the two together, then what happens? Your nature is to be merciful, and I am very much in need of mercy. So please give me mercy. But there's no direct request there.
And I read also, I forgot a little bit, maybe you know, Bhakti said, and you promise that you will come and save me. I have some hope that you promise me to rescue me.
Yes. Yeah, there's some very strong assertions of the need for mercy, dependency on mercy. And in the Gopinath songs, there's one place where he says that. Something like that. You're seeing that I am averse to you, and so you've decided not to give me mercy.
Oh yeah.
Is this fair? Seeing that I don't want your mercy, you're not giving me mercy. This doesn't make any sense.
I remember that.
Gopinath, Eki Vicharatava Vimukha Dekya. Oh, Gopinath, is this your decision? Is this what you've decided? Seeing that I am against you, you're not going to be merciful to me? And Srila Sridhar, he also expresses that we can pray, we can approach the Lord in this very hearty way. Like I am your property, and you're not taking care of your own property. Why are you not taking care of your own property? If there's anything wrong with my documents, he said, can you please correct it? It's your responsibility. It's your job. It's not my job. Why aren't you taking care of your own possessions? Such a hearty approach, maybe there. Nityananda Jagadananda Damodar Mukunda Haridase Mili Sobe Pailo Ananda. When Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Prabhu, Damodar Prabhu, and Mukunda Prabhu met Haridas Thakur, they all became very pleased. Samudra Snan Kodi Prabhu Aila Nijastane Advaitadi Gela Sindhu Kodi Bade Snane. When Mahaprabhu returned to his residence after taking a bath in the sea, all the devotees headed by Advaita Prabhu went to bathe in the sea. Asi Jagannatha Koilo Chodadara Shan Prabhuravase Aila Kodite Bojan. After bathing in the sea, Advaita Prabhu and all the other devotees returned, and on their return, they saw the top of the Jagannath temple. They then went to the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take their luncheon. Sabadevo Saila Prabhu Jogja Krama Kodi Shri Haste Padiveshan Koilo Gouda Hadi. One after the other, Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit in their proper places. He then began to distribute prasadam with his own transcendental hand. Alpana nahi aise dite prabhur hase duiti naranadena eka eka pate. Saying that a little bit did not come from the Lord's hand. He was unable to give a small quantity. Alpo, like we're always saying alpo, alpo when we go to India when they're serving prasad, say alpo, alpo. But it's saying alpo, that didn't happen with Mahaprabhu. There was no alpo. Small did not come from Mahaprabhu's hand. He did not give small. All the devotees were served prasadam on plantain leaves, and Mahaprabhu distributed on each leaf a quantity suitable for 2 or 3 men to eat, for his hand could not distribute less than that. Prabhu na kaile keho na kore bojan Urdvahaste bosidohe sarva bhaktagam. All the devotees kept their hands raised over the prasadam distributed to them, for they did not want to eat without seeing the Lord eat first. So they're all feeling very embarrassed, because Mahaprabhu is personally serving them, and now they're just sitting there, they don't want to eat if Mahaprabhu hasn't eaten. Swarup Damodar Goswami then informed Mahaprabhu, unless you sit and take prasadam, no one will accept it. Tomasangero hejata sanyasiragam gopinata charjatare koriyache nimantnam. Gopinath Acharya has invited all the sannyasis who remain with you to come and take prasadam. Acharya asyachin bikar prasadana loya puri bharati achin tomrapeka koriya. Gopinath Acharya has already come, bringing sufficient remnants of food to distribute to all the sannyasis, and sannyasis like Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati are waiting for you. Nityananda loya bhiksha korite vaisa tumi Vaishnave pariveshan korite chiyami. You may sit down and accept the luncheon with Nityananda Prabhu, and I shall distribute the prasadam. And I shall distribute the prasadam to all the Vaishnavas. Tove Prabhu prasadana govinda hate dila jatna kori haridas thakore pataila. After this, Mahaprabhu carefully delivered some prasadam into the hands of Govinda to be given to Haridas Thakur. Wow. He's personally preparing prasadam for Haridas Thakur. Wow. Apane bosila sabha sanyasire loya pariveshan kore acharya harashita loya. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally sat down to accept lunch with the other sannyasis, and Gopinath Acharya began to distribute the prasadam with great pleasure. Sarup Gosai Damodar Jagadananda Vaishnavere Pariveshe Tinjane Ananda. Then Sri Damodar Goswami, Damodar Pandit, and Jagadananda all began to distribute prasadam to the devotees with great pleasure. Nana nana pitapana kaya kanta podiya maje maje hari kohe anandita hoya. They ate all kinds of cakes and sweet rice, filling themselves up to their throats, up to the neck. This is mentioned many times. Taking prasadam up to the neck. Only then was Mahaprabhu happy. And at intervals they vibrated the holy name of the Lord in great jubilation. Purport: it is the practice of Vaishnavas while taking prasadam to chant the holy name of Lord Hari at intervals and also sing various songs such as Sharira Vidyajal. Those who are honoring prasadam, accepting the remnants of food offered to the deity, must always remember that prasadam is not ordinary food. Prasadam is transcendental. We are therefore reminded, Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyaratam Rajan Vishwashanaiva Jayate. Those who are not pious cannot understand the value of Mahaprasad or the holy name of the Lord. This is the meaning of this prayer, that Mahaprasad, Govinda, the holy name, the Vaishnavas, those who have Swalpa Punya, those who have, little good fortune, they cannot appreciate. They have no faith in these things. There was one day in Calcutta when Gurudev was, I think it's recorded as well, I think it's published on the website, where he was chanting this verse with a mood of lamentation. Do we have, and he said, do we have faith in Mahaprasad? Do we have faith in the Lord? Do we have faith in the Vaishnavas? Do we have faith in the holy name? No, we don't. We don't have. So we're trying always to remind ourselves to keep that consciousness when we're going to take prasadam.
It's one of the difficult things.
One of the most difficult. Almost every time I forget. Almost every time. You're just thinking about your belly and your tongue, or at least for myself. But to be in that consciousness, like this is the Lord's, this has come from the Lord's plate. It's not just food. One should never consider prasadam to be like ordinary hotel cooking. This hotel, it has actually one of the issues is that a lot of the language here, like it was relevant, to that time. But this is the thing, like language changes every day, Like what means something today didn't mean the same, 6 months ago, But hotel, Gurudev would also say hotel, use that, but just meaning like kind of like what we might call a cafe, or they used it differently. Gurudev would say also things like that, like hotel food, but he meant like, anyway, don't need to analyze it to death. Nor should one touch any kind of food not offered to the deity. Every Vaishnava strictly follows this principle and does not accept any food that is not prasadam. They used to follow this very strictly. Devidasi Prabhu was telling us the other day how when he went to visit these, they were Shaivites, I believe. Srila Sridhar Maharaj went on behalf of his godbrother to engage in a debate with one like leading, powerful Shaivite. And they cooked something. They'd offered to Vishnu deity, Shalagram Shila, I believe, to Narayan. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, we won't take it. He just told them directly. And this shows you like the power, like great Vaishnavas, they can do things like that and get away with it, because they're actually living on that level of consciousness. Like Swami Maharaj Prabhupada would say the most insulting things about, different people of the day, but he could get away with it. But he specifically told his disciples, don't do that. I can say it and they will accept, but you cannot say that. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he wouldn't take it. And they said, oh, but it's been offered to Lord Narayan. Like you worship Narayan also. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, but your conception of Narayan is different from our conception of Narayan. And Devidasi said that they were happy. They weren't offended. Like they appreciated, his level of consciousness. Janardhan Maharaj also told me that one time when he was traveling with our brahmacharis, they would not take prasadam, not even in other Gaudiya. If they visited the homes of other Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they would only take prasadam from persons who were a part of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. Like that's how exclusive like their standard was, how high their standard was. Persons who are cultivating the same ideal, as like very specifically, the specific ideal that we're cultivating. We only take prasadam from those because it's an exchange of consciousness. So they cook for themselves. And of course, in India, there's already some culture like that. Like in the caste system. If you're like a Brahmin and you're going to visit someone else's house and you wouldn't eat their food, you'd cook for yourself, So it's a bit more acceptable in India, because there's already some culture like that. But here people would be so offended. Someone's just prepared, like a big feast. Oh no, we'll cook. very much alienate people. But it's giving us some a helpful reference point, that there should be some care in what foodstuffs we're taking, because there's an exchange of energy there. There's an exchange of consciousness. Gurudev mentioned that if there's money paid for something, then that will nullify the karma. If you purchase something, that's a little different, because you've given something in exchange for that, so that will nullify that person's karma. But if you're like accepting as a gift, that's different. And like even with donations, there was care about like how money would be used. If it came from a very sinful place, then like a Ch.Ch. said that they had some funny system I don't know if they still do it, but they had some funny system in Bengal where the government would, once or twice a year, they would take all the fish from, like the fish were the property of the government or something, or they take all the fish for some reason. I don't remember the details. But then they would give some money. So of course, this isn't something that we would have liked, but it was we didn't have any choice. So we had our Govinda Kund, right? So they would come once a year and take all the fish from our kunds. But then they'd give some money for that in exchange. And Gurudev told the Ch.Ch. you have to be careful how you spend that money, because that money, those fish are going to be killed, right? There's some himsa there, so there's some reaction. So he told him that money must be used directly for the service of the deities, nothing else. And there was a similar case with Srila Sridhar Maharaj, of one devotee who he had it was with let's just say the food industry. Don't want to go into details. But he became very wealthy from it, and he gave some big donation. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, only I can handle that money. Nobody else can handle that money. So, we have to be careful. We were mentioning yesterday also that Srila Gurudev told one devotee in Australia, he was asking about like accepting government money, and Gurudev said every penny has to be used in service, because otherwise, like there's some reaction there. If there hasn't been some exchange of energy, you're accepting it as like a charity, then have to be very careful how you spend it. So, we're living in a reactionary environment. Our only hope is the service connection, If we went to think of we'd go mad, if you went to try and calculate like everything that you've eaten or taken today, or everything that you've done, even just using the phone, using the computer, all this technology, how many reactions are connected to all these things? What energy has gone into producing? What level of exploitation is behind? Oh my goodness, it's impossible. The dedication is our only hope. Service is our only hope.
The amount of people who've lost their minds to designing technology, the amount of people who've died mining it, and the amount of people who've killed themselves assembling it.
Yeah, it's frightening. Okay. I had a dream, such a nice dream last night, that Gurudev came to visit London.
Oh, here?
He was visiting London. I don't remember the details of the building.
You were there?
Yeah, well, for some reason, there wasn't many people around, and so I received him.
Wow.
And he embraced me.
Wow.
Like, so
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm feeling very, very positive today.
Yeah. You beam that.
Yeah. He's still with us.
Oh, yeah.
He's still here. It might have been Green Street, actually. Might have been Green Street.
Something else happened?
He said something, but I can't remember what. But I don't think it was any it was just some pleasantry or something. It wasn't like a very serious, profound statement. He was some affectionate pleasantry or something. And then the devotees were making some prasadam arrangements or something like that. And normally the ladies could not embrace Gurudev. So at least in the dream it was nice. But sometimes he would touch. Did he do that to you? He did that to you. And did he do that to you? I think to Saraswati he did. He would pat them on the head sometimes. But I never got that. I came at the end, Gurudev was in a different stage. But he's so powerful. He's so powerful. You can feel his presence and his affection even now.
Somebody said that, devotee said that, the disciple of Gurudev. Gurudev is so powerful, when you think of Gurudev, he's there.
Yes. On the absolute platform, it's like that.
Yeah.
Right? The name and the named, they're one and the same. To say his name with faith is inviting his presence. So I feel very hopeful. I was thinking about there's this line by John Keats, and the poet. No, not Keats. Byron, Lord Byron, where he published. He wasn't very well known originally as a writer, but he published one thing in particular which made him famous. And so within the matter of a couple of days he became a celebrity. Yeah. And so he wrote this one line: I woke up one morning and found that I was famous. And Gurudev and Srila Sridhar, he quotes that in one talk, where I think he's talking about how things transformation can happen very quickly. I can't remember exactly the context. He might have been talking about offering everything to Mahaprabhu, and then it gets, it will take you to Krishna Leela, something like that. But I was thinking of that line this morning, now I feel this morning I feel like everything's changed, feeling Gurudev's affection and oh wow, such blessing has come. Now the sun is rising, now everything is very bright, getting the touch of Guru's grace, then everything is bright. It's very difficult sometimes, not, you're like a child, and then he leaves, and then you're like, where's my dad? Like, I'm growing up, like, I'm going through my teenage years, like, my dad left early, but I really needed him, So those moments when we feel like, no, he hasn't left, he's still there, then.
And on Janava's appearance day and Ganga Puja.
Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Vishakha Devidasi ki Jai.
Adrani, do you want to sing?